but direct from Los Angeles via a tour that he's on now, opening for Triumph, Yngwie Malmsteen.
Hello.
I should say, hur mår du?
Jag mår bra, tack. Ja.
Well, I'm both too, so anyway, so there we go. You used to be in a band called Alcatraz after you were in a band called Steeler, and I remember that there was a song called God Bless Video. I think that you were involved in the recording of that one?
That was the song they did after I left.
Just after you left.
Yeah.
What was the reason for leaving Alcatraz? Because you seemed to be fulfilling a fairly good role as a guitarist in that band. Was there a desire to make your own band, your own music?
Yeah, really. What I've always been wanting to do is to write all the music myself, and I really did write all the music in that band as well. But the band members, all us together, really, we just didn't seem to be able to, get it together too well. Because I guess there was an age difference or something that came in there. There's a lot of frictions and stuff, and so I decided to just go on my own and do it that way instead.
Right. It's interesting that with the exception of Van Halen, that this is the only band I know of that carries a guitarist's name on it, as opposed to being a band unit fronted by the lead singer and then the guitarist, and everybody works together to make the music. And now it's Yngwie J. Malmsteen.
That's right.
Just so that you're not confused with the hundreds of other Yngwie Malmsteens that are around. Something that's perhaps different about the style of rock and roll that you play compared to most other people is that while you might have been brought up on Chuck Berry licks, and Jimi Hendrix was probably a favorite of yours some years ago, but you look more to the classics, people like Bach, Paganini, Vivaldi.
Very much so, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, sort of. The main reason is because I felt it was a little too limiting to listen to guitar players all the time, because it seems to me that most guitar players are influenced by other guitar players, and they, in their turn, are influenced by other guitar players as they get around and around and around. So I just started listening to other instrumentalists, such as classical violin, then of course, and like just the keyboards of it, like Bach and Paganini, for instance, and Beethoven. Just in general, the melodies that were incorporated into that kind of music just, intrigued me more, so to speak.
Well, how do you translate something like, say, a Bach line into rock and roll?
Well, so I don't really play their compositions. I just apply the same sort of technique, basically. Of sort of broken chords and arpeggios and stuff like that.
Right. I know that Rick Emmett from Triumph, in a guitar solo he used to do about 4 years ago, used to incorporate Hall of the Mountain King as the basis for the guitar solo. That was the dun 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 dun. Yeah. And that was a classical movement originally.
That's right. Yeah. I sort of do it a little differently than that, because I incorporate this sort of flavor of classical music, but not exactly the pieces that they actually wrote. And I do it within the guitar solos and so forth all the time.
What was it about your youth that led you towards the classics as opposed to listening to other guitarists like so many other bands do?
Well, I did start listening to other guitar players in the beginning, Hendrix and Blackmore and stuff like that. But what happened was just that I played so much, and I was into it so much that it sort of became frustrating that, I needed an influence from somewhere else as well to go a little further, So that's why I started listening to classical music, mainly Bach and Paganini then. Just simply because it's more there, to me,
Were your parents fans of these people? Did they give you the records, or did you go out searching by yourself?
Sort of a mixture, I think. There was classical records lying around my house, but also in Sweden, you get very exposed to classical music from TV and radio and stuff like that, much more than rock and roll, I think.
So that's almost the first music of the country, as opposed to rock or pop, would it be?
Jazz, I think, is the biggest there. But classical music also is very, common.
Have you looked towards jazz yet?
I like some jazz musicians, like John Ponty and Al Di Meola. They're very, very good, but it doesn't seem to inspire me as much as classical music, though, because it's not as pure as far as the scales and the relative keys and stuff like that. It's more how do you say, chromatic.
I'd like to talk about life as a guitar hero in just a couple of minutes, but perhaps we can go to a piece of music from you. All right?
Yes.
This was shot on the set of Conan the Barbarian, I understand?
That's right. And it was done very quickly as well. It was about the whole thing, I think, it was about 11 hours.
How did you grab the set?
We rented it.
Those things are just for rent, you can see?
No. The guy, I think, the guy who directed it had some inside deal with him. I really don't know exactly how it happened, but we were able to do it. you know.
Seems to go along well with the feeling of rock and roll, at least, anyway.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. Almost burnt my hair off a couple of times. So.
Yeah, the flames do get quite big at times.
Yeah, they feel very intense, you know.
Okay, from the second album, here's Yngwie Malmsteen, and this is I'll See the Light Tonight in stereo on MuchMusic. Yngwie Malmsteen, who has a brand new album out, which is called Trilogy, which maybe we can talk about in just a little while. But first of all, you are taken by a number of people who just appreciate rock and roll, and a lot of young players out there, to be the new guitar hero of the 1980s. Is that a title that sits well with you?
Of course, it's always nice to hear these things and it's flattering and stuff like that, but I don't really let it go to my head too much because it doesn't really make any difference to me. I mean, as far as the way I approach what I'm doing and stuff, you know. I basically just am the same person as I was when I was playing the basement in Stockholm, you know. So that's, I mean, it's always nice, but it doesn't change me as a person. I mean, I might look different in other people's eyes, but to me, I'm just the same old guy.
Do you keep in mind when you're writing music that you are influencing an entire crop of new guitar players? They're looking towards you for new influences?
Well, I don't really think about it, you know. I mean, I just play what I really want to play, you know, basically.
If there's a young guitarist out there who's thinking, you know, how can I better myself, what would you suggest to them?
Well, basically, what I think is the best thing you can do as far as, you know, expanding your abilities as a guitarist is to listen to classical music, or if you wish, jazz or whatever. Something that is a little different, and also to listen to other instruments rather than just guitar. You know, that's what I think really makes you being able to play more, you know. Because all guitar players basically just listen to other guitar players and then goes round and round. And I think that's a trap.
Everybody winds up playing the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the new licks are just basically old blues licks played a lot faster, aren't they?
That's what I would say, yes, most of the time.
Even though you don't really sort of see yourself in the role of a guitar hero, I noticed that in some performances you do manage to get close to that Pete Townsend, Jimi Hendrix style of performing. Maybe we can roll a little bit of a video here, which I believe was shot in Japan off of the debut album, Rising Forth. Let's just take a little bit of a look at this. It's been posterized, and we'll find out exactly what Yngwie does do on stage here.
Yes.
A lot of people might look at that performance and say, that's got to be a fairly expensive pastime, because that was a $900 guitar that you smashed?
Yeah.
So you do get a little bit over the top sometimes, do you?
I don't know, I think it's fun. As a matter of fact, the reason I started playing guitar in the first place was because I was smashing one up. Because I saw Jimi Hendrix on TV, and I go, wow, that's what I want to do.
So that's an influence that's lasted 20-odd years now.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you like to be better taken for your songs than your guitar playing? This is, I guess, relating back to the role as a guitarist.
Well, on this brand new record here, excuse me, I wrote all the music, all the lyrics, and I really worked very hard on the record in every aspect of it, really. Mm-hmm. And I would like to be appreciated for that as well, basically, because I'm not only playing the guitar, I'm writing all the music and producing and arranging and lyrics and the whole bit, you know. Even the concept of the record cover. And
yeah, which I might add is a very interesting cover.
Yeah.
Here we have the three-headed...
yeah, it's
well, actually, that's not a hydra because that's got 7. And so this just represents the 3 albums that you've done?
Yeah, like 3, you know, 3rd record.
Right.
And also the Trilogy suite on this record is a suite that consists of 3 segments. And there's 2 other dragons on the back, so there's 3 dragons.
Right, all right. So there you are. So there's 3 dragons, each with 3 heads, all coming back to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the music keeps going around and around.
That's right.
I'd like to thank you very much for dropping in and talking to us. Good luck at the show tonight, which is at Massey Hall in Toronto.
Right.
And you're also opening for Triumph on their Sportive Kings tour.
That's right. I've been doing that for a while now.
So if you happen to be on a border city or something like that and they're playing near you, come on down and see them. Thanks again. Why don't we go on with the first video release off of the Trilogy LP? You Don't Remember, I'll Never Forget. Keep on playing good rock and rolling, Dave.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
No.